Hello, this is Ryan from Let's Roleplay, and you're watching Q&A for April 25th, 2021. Okay, let's start with Buckle Backwoods, or Buck. Number one question. Malcolm is quickly becoming one of my favorite characters. In the past, you have stated that your characters are extensions of yourself. Is that true with Malcolm? Number two. Will you be putting Legacy of the Dragonborn on your mod list for Skyrim? Number three. Speaking of mod lists, may we please have your Oblivion mod list? Number four. My final question. What's Jamaica like? So you have to forgive me, I am actually feeling worse as the day's going on. And I didn't get much sleep last night. So I'm doing my best to be myself. Of course, my last news and QA back in February, or was it March? It was March. I wasn't doing too good that day either. I wasn't sick though, I don't think. Just was tired. But yeah, so let's go through this. Very interesting questions. This one is... I can spend probably hours talking about this if I just want to go crazy with it, but no. Let's just get it, tell you the basics. So, is Malcolm's quickly becoming one of my favorite characters. In the past, you've stated that your characters are extensions of yourself. Is that true with Malcolm? Not really. Because you'll see where Malcolm's going to go if it all works out. It's hard for me to be evil. It really is. He has some of my pain. He definitely does in his life. But he's a different person from me, for the most part. You'll see as time goes on, things will get dark. Same thing with my Skyrim character, not in the dark way, but a different... he'll be different from the Skyrim character will be different from anything I've done before as well. So you've heard the basics of Malcolm. Yeah. Having that much trauma, plus there's more that I'm going to be adding in that I plan to. You're not going to come out right on that stuff. So, number two. Will you be putting Legacy of the Dragonborn on your mod list for Skyrim? I had that mod in my last Skyrim build. And it's a great mod. Very detailed. Really well done. Probably one of the most well done mods I've seen. But it's really extensive. And it's great for a person who's playing by themselves without making videos. But, yeah, so playing solo with, it literally says in the description, it adds hundreds of hours to the game. And I just can't see it being practical. And I'll explain why. If you go and look at my 213 Morrowind videos, you'll see that after about video 80, it really tapers off. This after a steady decline in views up to video 80. But then after that, I mean, I probably have about 20 videos up to the end or more with less than 10 views. So that's not good. It's great for the people who are really following along, but I don't think that that's good for me and for most of the people watching. I'll just lose them if I make like 400 videos for it. I don't know why it tapers off so much. People got bored of it, I suppose. You can't say it's the game exactly, because it was... Go look at the original 2002 game. People who made videos of it without any mods. It hurts to look at the screen, it really does. Especially with my giant monitor, 34-inch, the pixels are just so big. Yeah, it's terrible. Oh man, I had to look for this one thing that I was looking for. It was one of the, because I'm not feeling well and I've forgotten what the name is. You know the thing where I can transport 10 all over the place and there's 10 different ones. I couldn't find the one in Vivek. It was really well hidden and the description for the quest was garbage. So I was looking throughout the entire canton. Yeah, so I had to go look it up to see where people have actually found it on YouTube, because I couldn't continue. I had to finish the video, right? And it was so bad. It's like, oh man, it's also the monitor and it's what you're used to. Like if my monitor, what was my first monitor size? Like 14 inches tube TV back in 94. I first bought my first computer when I was 18. Yeah. This is 34-inch LCD, high definition, ultra high definition, 4K TV, curved. I love my monitor, but yeah, looking at it is like the worst thing I've ever seen. It's very painful to watch. So And just in terms of graphics, and I know the animation wasn't really... It was improved with my mods, but it wasn't really helped that much. I think people watched... continued on, because I've had a few people say they really like my story. The game, not so much. And back in the day, because I played it shortly after it came out, I probably finished it around 2003, 2004. Oh yeah, back in my days when I had nothing to do but go to work and come home and play video games, and I didn't have any responsibilities other than that, just doing whatever I want to do. I've got kids, I've got a wife, I've got to maintain the house. I have illnesses, yeah, I've got a lot of stuff. But she just texted me about dinner. Okay, so, where was I? I tend to go off on tangents. So, I can't say why people stop watching it. I'm guessing a lot of it is the game itself. I don't think it's so much my... Maybe they got tired of just the story of Snail Railvein. But I don't think I can prolong the game for that long. For 100, like, it would be like doubling the size of the game. And then I'd be playing a lot on my own and not filming it, or just if I do record it, I would be speeding it up. It would just make it a lot more tedious for me. It wouldn't make it as fun for me. I wouldn't be able to enjoy it as much. That's more of a single player, non-video making type. Although I'm sure there's some people on YouTube who have done the whole thing. It's hard to do that with a really personal, coherent story, though, I think. So, yeah. It even says in the description, it's not playing Skyrim anymore. It's playing Legacy of the Dragonborn. So as much as I would like to, if it was perfect world. Like if I didn't ever have to go to sleep or take care of my kids or eat or anything like that, or worry about finances. But yeah, I'd make 500 Skyrim videos, no problem. Throw in every awesome mod. And I never got tired. Just keep on going. Just keep making video after video. If the damn editor would encode about 10 times faster. Doing 4K videos encoding with Oblivion, yeah, it's a half an hour encoding. I'm back up to what it was like before 2020. It was really fast. The encoders, well, it's also my computer has been updated. The encoder was faster, and the computer is faster. The video card is twice what it used to be when I stopped making videos. And like it was encoding in like 5-7 minutes before I went to 4K. Then I go to 4K, real 4K. When I went to real 4K just a couple months ago. It's taken so long. So anyways, that's that. Number 3, third question is, speaking of mod lists, may we please have your Oblivion mod list? I have 135 mods for Oblivion running. Because the game is so touchy, I was told you shouldn't try to go past 100. But I don't want to read it all the mods I have. However, I do have this graphics mod, which is the basis that I used to get what I have up and running. Other than that, I have 2 companion mods in there. Vilya, you know about that one already. So then I went around and added in life to the game. More people in the cities, on the roads, in the taverns, off the roads, children, cats, rats, dogs, a whole bunch of other stuff. And that game balancing mods, so that the level scaling thing won't be an issue. I've already felt the level scaling issue. Like, because I'm so far behind in Mace, using my one-hand blunt. I don't know. My head's not in it right now. Using my mace. Geez, I miss Skyrim. All the perks and the fighting was just really awesome. It's much improved in Oblivion, and I guess it shows the graphics and animation. I enjoy it too, and I want to finish Oblivion this time. I haven't finished it because I just stopped playing after all the crashing that I was getting. And so you have to be awfully careful with modding Oblivion. It's even more touchy than Morrowind, by far more touchy. I don't know what... I guess it was a big jump for Bethesda back in the day, between 2004 and 2006, to get that game out. And there's a lot of... It's poorly... It's a good game. It's poorly made. I don't know. I think that they're in over their heads. I don't remember Fallout 3 having any problems, and there wasn't really that many mods for Fallout 3 that I saw back around 2008 to 2010 when I was playing it. But I did add mods in, and it was like a crash was really rare for me in Fallout 3. Other people might have differences, different experience, but I just put in a few mods for Oblivion, and every 20 minutes, conked out. I was getting so tired of it. I just couldn't do it. I was afraid of riding my horse, because the more you ride your horse, you can start to see the background slowing down more, and then crash the desktop. And it would happen over hundreds of times. So I would always get to the certain point in the game, like I did most of the city quests, and the main quest I stopped. I think I said this already. Once they want you to destroy or to close 5 Oblivion gates, I didn't get past it, not because I wasn't enjoying the game. Oh, and then the level scaling. That didn't help either. You know, when I said this in my last video, fighting an ogre and it takes like 3 or 4 minutes to kill him. Just one ogre. With your well, it wouldn't have been mace, it would have been my sword. I'm a sword type guy, I'm not really a blunt weapon user, but I'm doing it because I want to be different, and it makes, you know, a little bit sense to do this in Morrowind. I'm going dual wielding swords in Skyrim. Light armor, dual wielding swords. That was my first playthrough in that game. Oh man, I miss Skyrim. Thinking about it now, I would just want to play it. Yeah, I haven't played it for a couple years. It is my #1 favorite game. And let's go. Where was I? So in the description, there'll be 2 links to Nexus mods. One is the mod guide that I use that you should start with, and the other is for a mod creator who made a lot of mods in the last couple years for Oblivion. And I used the majority of what he created, not all of them. He did a total comprehensive change of all the dungeons and everything. I didn't want that because there was a reason. I did take his level scaling thing. He threw it out in a separate mod. He changed it. So it's like Skyrim now. There's a maximum cap for the monsters, every monster in the game, including the NPCs. And instead of just falling all the way up to like level 100, if you can get that far in Oblivion, and you'll be the your mace, your skill in one hand blunt won't be able to match it. Say it's like 50 skill, and they're like level 100. Just won't even make a dent in them. But yeah, a lot of it's gameplay changes for this guy, so I'll put that link there, and it gets rid of the level scaling issue among many other really neat things that he did. And I used most of his mods. So the final question, number 4, my final question was Jamaica like. You know how I feel now? I felt worse when I went to Jamaica. It was like week after our honeymoon, we went on our Caribbean cruise, and my wife had lost her voice like 2 days before the honeymoon. She picked up something, and so my time in Jamaica, even if I was feeling well, it was short. So the cruise ship got there, we had 4 or 5 hours before we had to get back to the cruise ship. Yeah, and then we're off to the next stop with 3 stops: Jamaica, Grand Cayman, and then Tulum, Mexico. Yeah. I have something from there. Tulum, Mexico. A Mayan calendar. Yeah. I've never been to Mexico. Oh, that's a lie. I have been. I went to my dad took me to Tijuana when I was like an infant or 1. So my second time in Mexico. This time I remember it. So for Jamaica... So, yeah, we went down to Miami for the honeymoon Caribbean cruise. Thankfully, our doctor gave us a bunch of antibiotics that were 2 days. You use them for 2 days, and for each of us, not just for one person, just in case. And we got sick. We didn't get really sick, but we got sick enough where you just don't really feel like doing, like leaving your cabin besides just laying down and eating and watching something. And but you know, it's a honeymoon. You got to get out and do things. I'm like that. Like, I could be a total homebody at home, but when I go on vacation, and I love to travel, I want to go see everything and do everything. So the antibiotics worked, but we took it because Jamaica was the second day, so we took it probably on the first day, and the second day we still weren't feeling very good. So we kind of did the old person thing. We took a tour bus around. We landed in Ocho Rios and went on a bus tour. Most of the people there were elderly or older. Here I was in my early 30s. I think I was 33 when I got married. Kind of, I wanted to go. They had this hike up these big long waterfalls. That's quite well known in the area, apparently. And then you take the zip line down. Now that I think of it, there's no way I can get my wife. Could have gotten my wife to do that. The falls, yeah, but the zip line, she's terrified of things like that. There's a suspension, like just for traveling on foot, not vehicle, suspension bridge in North Vancouver that we went to shortly after we started dating, within the first few months of 2005, and I had to almost push her to go across it. There's like 100 people around us walking back and forth, and she's just like, nope, not going across it. It was a canyon that went over, and I was fine. I wasn't worried. I am afraid of heights, but that's only if I feel like I'm in a position where I could fall. I wasn't afraid there. Like, I've been up on top of a 28th floor building that we were working on when I was in construction, and ooh, there was nothing to hold me up. We went to the roof, and we were working on. We had to get from one. Don't ask me why. We had to crawl through a whole bunch of stuff. We had to go to the very top floor, crawl through some kind of maintenance thing, get to the other side, get to somebody's. They had a deck, big deck. These were like they'd probably be like $3 million Canadian, $2 million US now. Homes. Yeah, in fact, one guy was even selling his home for $2 million Canadian back then, 2004, 2005. Yeah, so with the way the housing market in Vancouver has gone, it's insane. It is insane. Your regular house is $1 million Canadian. It's $1.5 million, and these houses go back to the 60s and 70s. It is insane. Like, we went down the States. I don't know if I told you guys this. Went to Texas in 2019, and we stayed at my wife's niece's place, and the home and the property, 300 something thousand, and this is San Antonio. That place here, $1.5 million Canadian, so about 900,000 million US dollars. The same thing here. Yeah, the housing market is just ridiculous. It's because this is the number one place, one of the big places for people with money in China to come over to Vancouver, and they own a lot of extra homes that they live part-time in here. So it's driven the housing market in the last 20-30 years. Just, it's unlivable for people just starting out. That's why we have a townhome, and this is $850,000 Canadian, which, what, 600,000 US? It's about a third difference in the currency. So it's just ridiculous. We could buy two of the homes down in San Antonio for the price of this place, and this is just a townhome. I don't know. I would move. It's my wife has a lot of family here. I do too. Extended family, not nuclear family. My nuclear family's all in the Okanagan, which is about 4 hours from here. So I do miss them. I haven't seen my mom in quite a while, especially with the lockdown in the last year. So, anyways, yeah, I go off on a big tangent. As for the Jamaica, next stop was Grand Cayman the next day, and the antibiotics had kicked in, and I was well enough to drive. It was driving on the left side of the road, which I was really looking forward to because I've never done that before. So we followed a tour guide. A bunch of us had these rented Jeeps, and we just drove all around the island. He showed us a bunch of places, and we ended up on a beach where they served us, I don't know if it's the same as Jamaican jerk chicken in Grand Cayman. Maybe. I don't remember it, actually. I remember it was good chicken. Yeah, oh yeah, you get like a free chicken and a beer or something, or a drink. So I think I had a couple beers. Yeah, on a beautiful beach, the white sand and light blue water. Stuff that you don't see up here. I don't know what it's like going down into the States, but up here in Vancouver, our natural beaches along the coast are terrible. They're all rocks, big rocks, and full of stuff you just don't want to go into. And they're natural beaches down in the Caribbean. You want to go there because they're so awesome. But here, unless they pour sand down and make it into a nice beach, the coast is just kind of gross. Just a lot of sea life, like growing all the way up, and big rocks, and the water's cold. So I mean, where I live isn't cold. It's very mild temperature, so Don't think it's, oh, it's Canada. It's the snow line from the U.S. to the States. Yeah, you Americans. We make fun of you about that. The old story where American came up, brought his skis and skiing outfit, thinking as soon as he crosses the border, that's how all Canadians get around. Or the same. Oh no, it was in Florida. It wasn't the honeymoon. It was when we went to Orlando to go to Disney World and Universal Studios. So the Canadian Pavilion, it was whatever Studios was one of the parks for Disney World. The Canadian one. Way off. Yes, Canada. Most of Canada is cold, but not where we live here in Vancouver. It is extremely mild. It doesn't get too hot and it doesn't get too cold. In fact, most years it doesn't even snow here. And it's very, very humid, though. If you don't like humidity, don't come here. The humidity here can be really stifling. But yeah, the pavilion had a movie, and it was showing, like, everyone goes and stands and watches this big thing up in Canada. And it was showing, like, a winter, probably back east, where it's much colder than it is here. And I remember one of the moms saying, oh, yeah, to her son, or she may have been the grandma, oh, yeah, it's really cold up in Canada. It's not. Depends where you go. Like, geez, where I live from here, like, where my family is, they're just, like, half an hour, 45 minutes drive north of Canada's only desert. It gets very warm there in the Okanagan. Very warm. So British Columbia, the southern half is not that cold. The northern half is really, as far as I know, it gets really cold up there. And we don't all wear lumberjack red and black plaid outfits, wear toques. You guys call them beanies. We call them toques. I refuse to call them beanies. Yeah, I know it's a French word, so I'm kind of conflicted there. Also, the other thing is, we don't have beavers, moose, and we're not all lumberjacks, and there's not a snow line coming up from the U.S., so you guys got to get over that. It's not like that. It's like me thinking some stereotypical things about you guys down in the U.S., which there's many things that we can say. So, what is the next? That's it? Okay, so let's see what Wyatt asked. Number 1, on some of your opening narrations for Oblivion and Morrowind. Sorry, I didn't do I'm not feeling too well, guys. Sorry, Wyatt. I know it's your first questions here. Number 1, on some of your opening narrations for Oblivion and Morrowind, you use slowed down music from various Elder Scrolls games. Where do you get that music from? I would like to listen. I can do that to anything, any sound file or music file with Adobe CC Editor. It's part of the editor that I use for putting together all my videos. If the song is slowed down, it's slowed down so it can fit the narrated intro that I made. Sometimes it works. A few times it doesn't. Most of the time it does work. Yeah, it's kind of cool. I mean, I don't know if everybody knows that uses it, but I just did it. It's called Speed. If you look on it, you right-click on the little thing you put up in the editor. Right-click and it says Speed. So if I want it to go 50%, then I'll put it to 50. And if I want it just, 10% slower, then I put it at 90. So it's kind of the opposite of what you might logically, mathematically think. So 2. Second question, 2. If giving Malcolm an alignment, i.e. chaotic, lawful neutral, neutral evil, etc., what would it be? Malcolm would not be chaotic, but he wouldn't be lawful. But neutral for sure. We shall see about the neutral evil. This is kind of following up on the previous question, do I find myself like Malcolm? Is it true that this character is an extension of himself? Part of him is an extension of me and my knowledge of other people. So let's get into detail here. I've looked up what psychopaths are like and what they've gone through in their lives to get to where they are, how they don't care about other people. Now, I cannot relate to that because I personally feel too much empathy for other people who are suffering. Unless, of course, I'm defending myself or somebody else from some kind of physical attack. So, which, now that I think of it, I don't know if that's ever happened in my life. I don't think that's ever happened. I hope it doesn't. So, But in general, I cannot go around harming someone. Me personally, I can't go around harming someone innocent and not feel terrible about what I did and about how they may be affected. So I've had to do a lot of research in the last couple months. I believe my own father was a bit of a psychopath, or at least a sociopath. Now, don't get this wrong. Psychopath doesn't mean serial killer. Actually, I've been watching those on Netflix with my wife the last few weeks. Finding out things about people that I've heard all my life, like, who was that big one? A lot of what he did was in the Northwest. Ted Bundy, yeah. 36 women he killed, and other people. There's something about them that is definitely wrong, but that doesn't mean that's what all psychopaths are. They don't tend to care about the people that they step on to get what they want, but you have to understand a lot of leaders of business are often psychopaths or have some extent of psychopathy in their psychological makeup. It takes a hard person to get ahead in the top for businesses, and you'll not find people who play nice up there. So Malcolm's background is nearly all set. There's a bit more coming that'll make him a little bit more disturbed, but I'll have to just write through it to its conclusion. It's a challenge for me personally because I can't really relate. I mean, I've felt, ever since I was young, felt bad for people who were, suffering. I'm not a bleeding heart liberal. I can, but I'm not a conservative either. If you want to go both ways, I'm a moderate. I'm right in the middle. I care about people, but I understand that there's a level-headed approach to everything in life. You can't just listen to somebody who's spouting flowery words and just believe them because they sound good. So, yeah, as I said, my dad has issues. You don't have to be either full psychopath or not. It can be partial. It can be part of your psychological makeup. At least this is what psychology is saying. Yeah, so number 3, would you consider doing some permadeath playthroughs? I've been asked this before. The problem is if I die early, the whole game story isn't told, and then I'll be asked to make up another character to play through it. I don't want to do that right now, not for a few years, at least if I'm still doing my videos then. I want to get through the game stories myself, because I haven't finished Oblivion or Skyrim. I did finish the main story in Fallout 3 and 4, and all the missions before the DLCs. I haven't done the DLCs in Fallout 3 or 4. I have not finished Fallout New Vegas. Though I personally don't really like that game too much. I don't hate it. I watched a playthrough of it completely on Metal Canyon. He did it complete to the end. It just showed some of the limitations of the engine. Not really the engine. The mechanics of how Fallout is set up. I actually like how Fallout 4 was done. People say, oh, it's too easy. You get up but high level and you get all the perks. Well, you know what? It's the same thing with Fallout 3 and the original Fallout thing. Like, you just master what you want. You get to 100%. Or even, what is it? Some of them go to 200%? Is that 200%? So you're still maxing out everything, and the game gets a little easy. I do like some things that they did in Fallout New Vegas where it's crazy hard. Like the death claws can kill you with 1 or 2 hits, even if you're pretty high level. Yeah, you don't let those things get near you, and that's on normal level. That's not any mods either. I do appreciate that they did that. It's just the game it really looks so bland. All I think of are orange, beige, and brown when I think of that, and some grays whenever you're in a vault. So it's just very bland. It's not hard to look at. It's just very bland. It's not a bad game, and I will be playing that at some point, hopefully. If I don't make videos of it, I'll be playing it on my own at some point in my life to get through it. So, yeah, I don't want to do that for a few years if I'm still... So it's as much of an experience for me to go through Oblivion and Skyrim, or more so than it is for you guys who are just viewing it because of all the stories that I write and I experience. I experience a lot of, like, I put myself in a position where I'm a little bit method acting to get through it, because it's hard to switch from out of character to in character. I have to think in character the entire time. And I know there's a few parts in where Shani, the way she treated Sunil, I was just ready to walk away from her. Yeah, that's how I actually really felt. I'm like, what the hell is this? This woman can't feel anything for any man because she's afraid of having her get hurt. But anyways, yeah. I would think that when I finish all the big Bethesda games, then I might do something like that. Skyrim is my favorite game ever. It's the environment, the lore, the combat, the enemies. It's just a great game overall. I miss it, actually. Oblivion isn't the same, though it's much better than Morrowind is in terms of the game engine, the look, the graphics, and the sounds and everything. I can't tell you how much I appreciate the full voice acting in Oblivion, along with quests that actually are more than just go here, do this, and report back. Or go here, get this, and report back. 90% of Morrowind had quests like that. It was a little, and without the voice acting, the quests felt very, very shallow and empty. And maybe that was another reason why a lot of people just stopped watching, because it wasn't as engaging. I appreciate a lot of the quests. People say that Bethesda doesn't write good quests. I don't agree with that. I think it runs, it's all over. It's so everywhere. There's some poorly written quests in Skyrim, but they don't stand out in my mind. I can't even recall them. I just like everything about Skyrim. I'm a bit of a Skyrim fanatic, and let's hope that Redfall, two provinces, and I've heard a theory of what it might be about. The towers. There's the White Gold Tower, the Crystal Tower down in Somerset, and there's the Adamantine Tower, where the gods decided everything, in the island of Balfiera between Hammerfell and High Rock. And the theory is that it is known lore-wise, maybe I should say this in game, how the elves feel. They feel really screwed over by the gods. Or at least by Lorcan, who is Nirn and Mundus. Lorcan is the body, is the dead god, but you can't get rid of... That's why the gods couldn't get rid of the heart, because then they would have gotten rid of Mundus itself. It's tied together. That's why they threw the heart away from the Adamantine Tower in the island of Balfiera, who is run... Actually, that's the only place left with the original elves of High Rock. That it's like a fortress. It's like Constantinople against people trying to attack the city. It has big walls, a lot of guards. The empire can't or couldn't get there. No one could, and it's been guarded for thousands of years by these elves. And that's the Adamantine Tower, so no one's able to go there and study it. That's basically where, really of real importance. And the elves believe if they get rid of the towers, then all of creation is undone. Mundus is undone. So that could be what they're going for. Those elves from the Eldameri Dominion. Of all the things in the Elder Scrolls, I really don't like that organization. They've got to be the worst. I remember I just went in Skyrim, I went and found this, just by accident, this shrine. I just ran across it. It was a Talos shrine. And there was like a note there, and I go on to read it, and then it was probably scripted. One of the Eldameri Dominion guys just shows up and starts attacking me, saying something like, "Oh, we've caught you, Talos worshiper." I'm like, what the hell is this? I just came across it by accident. So yeah, that group. They have to continue the story from because I think they're the new big bad guys. I don't think there ever was a big bad that span the games. You have them just per game, like there's Dagoth, Morrowind. Oh yeah, I wanted to talk about this. And then there's, of course, there's the Oblivion and Maroon's Dagon in Oblivion. But yeah, but the game spanning, I really hope Redfall is about what I've been telling you guys about, and they have the Eldameri Dominion in there. So as for games. The Elder Scrolls games. So I came across something really old. It was probably around the time Skyrim came out. And I keep reading this from you old timers. I don't know if any of you are watching this because we're more, last 2 or 3 Elder Scrolls games. That's all we really know. I didn't play Daggerfall. I didn't play Arena. In fact, I watched a review of Arena, and the guy said it was painful to get through, even after getting it all working on his computer. And it's supposed to get 8 different parts of the scepter or something like that, and he got the first one, and it took him 2-3 hours, and it was not fun. Combat is god awful, and it was not fun to get there. So he didn't want to take it any further. But as for Daggerfall, the old timers back then, 96 it came out, saying it's the best Elder Scrolls game. I don't know what else it had. I know because it was big, and a lot of it was procedurally generated. But that means without a lot of variety, you're seeing the same thing everywhere you go in Daggerfall. My throat's starting to get sore, actually. And then I know they had the ability to climb, so you can climb straight up walls. That was a skill. And they had another magic skill, of course I remember this, Thaumaturgy or Thaumaturgy. And I don't know what they took the spells out. Just like they took out Mysticism for Skyrim, but Mysticism is still in for Oblivion. So now there's 5 in Skyrim. There's 5 different magical classes. Enchanting is back in. It's out. Enchanting was a skill in Morrowind. I used that. Enchanting is not a skill in Oblivion. You pay for it to be done, I believe. But yeah, enchanting is... I was always a big enchanter in Skyrim. I love that's what you can do with the armor and weapons. But yeah, they're saying that some of these... I was in this chat room. Don't ask me where it was. It was some random chat room talking about the Elder Scrolls, and these guys are saying, yeah, I won't even... They said they didn't even play Morrowind because they cut so much content from Daggerfall, and they would never touch the other Oblivion or Skyrim. So I'm thinking this is extremely weird. For me, it's only gone up. I know they've cut a few things. The skills I think they should have left in for Skyrim, but and there's an argument for that. Too long of a one that I want to make right now, but yeah, it's I don't see it as cut content. I think it's just one thing is removed, another thing is added. The perks are really, really awesome. So yeah, the only thing that didn't work out too well was personality, your charisma in Skyrim. There really wasn't much. It was too easy. All you do is go around talking, buying and selling, and then trying to pass the checks that people give to you. And there was no skill. You didn't have a skill. It was just based upon how often you use it. And if it scaled with you as you went up, it just wasn't... It just was a skill that was not even there, even though it was in the perk tree type thing. So for, Speechcraft, I guess it would be from Morrowind. And, yeah. Anyways, I've talked long enough. I'm going to try to get better. I think my wife is bringing home some dinner. And thanks, guys, for watching. And please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And please give my membership a serious thought. It will really help me out a lot. So thanks for watching. We'll see you again.